too much for OBS to handle. Let me just get the live chat back. All right. Oh, we're on the same stream link. Cool. So we should be good.
Look at it. See, Josh is a professional. I couldn't manage that last night. So.
No, that was not the most optimal. Oh, we're on a different link. Never mind. Let me just put this in the slide.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, just throwing out my optimal here. It continues with Trae Young, Chris Middleton, Damian Lee, Ersan Ilyasova, and Steven Adams. If I had time to mess around with it, I would probably go away from Oubre. I don't know what player I'm missing that I would try to get to, though.
Michael J, I want to get to some of these questions here.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to fill time for you.
Michael J asking, how do we sort out Butler, Russell, Rubio, Booker? So, I mean, the ownership to me is the big part of how you'd be sorting that out, and that Russell and Booker are going to be the highest owned of that quadrant by a pretty decent margin. Assuming we're talking about DraftKings here. Butler and Rubio will be a bit less owned, though Butler's ownership, I think, has come up a little bit because of the value. Not enough, though, to really worry about it, but he is just a hair under 20%. So I would think just going to Butler and Rubio would be the lower owned play, but Russell and Booker clearly are going to be the guys who project the best. Butler and Rubio are the guys who I think are more tournament-y plays. But EMAC, how would you sort those guys out? And I guess do you have a lean if you were to try to rank Butler, Russell, Rubio, and Booker?
I'd go Russell first, Butler second, Rubio, and then Booker. But if you need to, and that's just me quickly saying generic site, point per dollar, and trying to go off what their current ownership is right now. If you're in tournaments and one is way less owned than the other, I'd probably go that route. But with more of a points lean, that would be the order I'm on.
People asking, apparently you got cut off in the middle of the Bam statement. So just circle back on that real fast.
Sure.
I'm okay paying for Bam. On Yahoo in particular, the price is more reasonable there now that we've established that. But Bam also, the fact that he got 55 fantasy points against Utah, to me, does jump off the page that with Dragic back in the lineup as well, like he's just playing that against everybody. It's not going to be a thing where the matchups are going to cut him out and what he does best. So don't mind Bam if you have the money, but I wouldn't have him as a priority just because he's so expensive on DraftKings. On Yahoo, though, that price looks pretty good. So I have no issue riding with Bam, though, because...
Oh, God. Thoughts on Dion Waiters? Don't play him.
No, don't.
He's been suspended like 3 different times. Has he even played a game yet this year?
No, he has not.
Yeah, he's literally been out for 3 different reasons, plus an injury. No. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's too many guys there now. Like the thing is, when there's nobody in there, that's fine. Like Dion Waiters last year had a couple decent days. Actually, in the preseason, he had a couple decent days too. But you have Nunn, you have Dragic in there, you have Duncan Robinson, you have Tyler Harrow, you have all these guys who they clearly prioritize more, who have not gotten couch locked from eating weed gummies this year and missed games as a result. So no, Waiters is very much not a lock and not somebody who I would want to play in this particular matchup as well. It's not like he's going to get a big run. If you want to take that stab with Kelly Olynyk or Myers Leonard instead because of the size there, sure, do that, but don't go Dion Waiters. That's not the move.
What are you doing with Ersan?
I just have like 90%. I couldn't care less.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going 60. And I know that's about where the field is. It just felt high.
No, I mean, look, this is something I think might be more of a Josh thing, which I not to attribute it to him because I have no idea what he's doing tonight with Ersan and if Ersan hits his target score or anything like that. But I don't mind loading up on a guy who's that cheap, who's got a role that I feel comfortable with. And this matchup as well, it's not like he's playing Indiana. It's not like he's playing Miami. It's not like he's playing a lot of these teams on the slate that we're talking about that are slower and more defensively inclined. He's playing Atlanta, who sucks and plays fast and misses shots and gives opportunities in a million different ways. It's hard for me to not see Ersan getting there, and I just don't think he's going to kill you on a slate where he's this highly owned either. For a tournament, though, sure, never an issue getting away from somebody in a tournament, but to me, that's the difference. MC
I'm not playing any Eric Fournier or Evan Fournier.
I got a little bit of Fournier just because his price has come down enough, but he gets really marginalized when Vooch is in there. He's not getting the looks that he was getting for a while.
No, and Dragic though he was in my main lineup, he's not coming up. I'm going. So this is what I'm just saying. I'm putting him at 32 points, but I'm capping him at 15% because that's where I want him. I want to be above the field, so that'll get him in there. But that's a quick way since I've got 4 minutes left. But if you're trying to manipulate guys, that's my down and dirty fast trick of doing that.
Also, how many bucks would you say is too many bucks for people who had asked this earlier? And I don't think we actually said the number.
I'd prefer not to go over 4. I think 3 is more appropriate.
Yeah, I think 4 is where I landed the most, and I segued back for my 5. I did have 5 earlier in the day, but then because of Lopez was the guy I cut out of that. But I think 4 can get there. It's worth noting too, the second unit is, at least without Giannis, or with Giannis in there rather, is generally staggered pretty like entirely separately. There isn't like, it's not like Middleton's out there taking usage away. So guys like Sterling Brown, Hale, Connaughton can get usage in that second group. And to me, Hill's the guy I like the most out of that group, but I couldn't begrudge any combination of 4, but I think 5 is probably pushing it. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Booker on FanDuel Cash? EMAC, do you have a take?
Alexander.
Let me see the ownership.
I have Alexander at 11% in my tournaments, if that helps. That's DK, but I like him. He's just he's a function of getting pushed out by having 3 and 4 Milwaukee guys.
I find Shea's floor to be a little better, but Booker is cheaper. Like he's $100 cheaper on FanDuel and going to be higher owned. So I would go Booker there and just ride with the field. Let's see, Rubio or Paul for Brian Savory. A great name.
I would actually go Rubio.
After Paul went nuts yesterday, I think it would be an interesting day to go to Rubio, but only if you don't have Booker in that lineup. I think I don't want to load those guys together, even though they're probably fine. I think we know what they do. Yeah, I think that's the reason why I would go Rubio. D'Lo or D'Angelo Russell and Chris Paul, or Jimmy Butler and Devin Booker. EMAC, what do you feel about those two?
The first one, I like them just a little bit better.
I think I would find Russell and Paul to be a little bit safer overall. Booker is owned enough where he's not, I wouldn't say like a tournament play by any stretch, but I think just Butler and Booker, I find there to be more risk to those two than Russell and Chris Paul. Herder and Brooke Lopez, or Damian Lee and Willie Cauley-Stein on Yahoo. I would go Herder and Lopez, I think.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Morgan Smith already got yours. All right,
let's download and upload. Fingers crossed.
Any last questions here? Embiid doesn't play Europeans well, Joseph. That one's probably a little much of a stretch, but I do have theories that, I do think European players play the Spurs better because of the style they're being similar. So I guess I can't totally begrudge that. And we just got ownership 1 minute ago as well. So if you
interesting take by Spags.
Look, I think
I've never given it thought. I'm not. It's an interesting angle. Why not?
There was somebody this year where I said that on a show, and then he did have a day, but the takes go into the embers real fast. I believe it was like Bielitsa who went nuts against them one of the days where he had an opportunity. Did ownership get weird at all? Actually, where did Aaron Holiday shake out? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's only 5% on DK in that last run, so he didn't take a jump there. Holiday did come up on FanDuel a little bit, but probably not enough at 4,700. He's 12% on FanDuel. Still not a great matchup for Holiday, but he's been really good. And $13 on Yahoo, he should be, I think, higher than 17%. So Holiday does look like a guy who did not take that jump today for whatever reason. All right, you guys got seconds left to lock. So if you haven't got your lineups in, do it now, or you are boned. And we are locked.
No. Trying to fix one more thing. I'm riding heavy here with Trae Young in my tiers contest. I forgot to.
That's fine. Trey's not going to kill you though. Trey's he'll give you 45 as like a bad game. I think which is what he's done against Milwaukee twice this year. Quick round of daddy likes. Why not?
Of course.
Close out the week. Everything's still loading there.
Literally. Trae Young everywhere.
How much Trae Young did you get, EMAC?
Like 60%.
That is a lot of Trae Young, but the matchup got better. We talked about it, so
no, it's fine. I just prefer. He was in my main lineup as well, so I prefer to diversify the ones I'm putting into tournaments because I figure a lot of people will go there, and that's where you can get some differentiation and leverage on the tiers because people don't put content out for that because it's tricky to put content out for it.
Yeah, tiers. I have not played much tiers, but I did do that DK live show for a while where they do the tiers as part of it. And
oh, really?
Yeah, they have tiers of joy is what they call it. And it's just literally like picking between the tiers as a segment, which is fine. But
because they don't do much for making a fun game on their site and trying to grow it.
No, it feels like it should be like a large tournament. Like that should be the idiot proof one where you have a lot of people who are just like it should be that one instead of the big jam every day or whatever.
And the late contest, it's also nice for because you don't have to worry about salary cap, and they put all the players in there. So like tonight, there's a 2-game slate, but you're looking at definite seventh men in the rotation when you get to tier 6. So there's a lot more thought about it. So I kind of really like it.
All right. Excuse me. The ownership has come out. So got the first one and a little bit higher than we had him, but still too low owned to me. Steven Adams is number 1 at 18%. I'm just going to spoil that one, EMAC. But how do you feel about Adams at that ownership level? Because I'm still double it and I have no problem with that at all.
I believe I am double. I am going to upload into the Swaptimizer my last upload file here. Apologies for the delay. Should have done that. I have Steven Adams. Oh my, only 16.5%.
So you're with the field at least. That's fine.
Yes.
Devontae Graham at 15%, by the way.
Nerlens Noel, I have at 23%.
Oh, okay. So you're leveraging against Steven
Adams.
I
like and Joey Corman, who is on the Monday Early Bird podcast with me, one of our behind the scenes guys. He's doing some content now. He really has pointed me in the direction of taking bigs against Charlotte, and the numbers bear out and the advanced metrics bear out, etc. So this is a nice matchup.
Yep, no, I agree. Center matchup, one of the only ones you can really care about for DVP. That is one that does actually provide you some insight. And Charlotte's, I think, the second worst on the year. I think just behind Chicago. Chicago's, ironically, the 2 CH teams are the ones that are doing the worst there for centers. Devontae Graham at 14.6%. So that's higher than I thought it would be, but I was intrigued by Devontae Graham. I think I got 5%, and I just like him overall because he does spike those random upside games. EMAC, Devontae Graham, do you end up over or under on 14.6?
35.8 feels a little heavy.
Oh, that's a little heavy. Did you get some Rozier at least in there? Just in case?
Scary Terry. No, did not make the cut. Oh, yes, he did. 3.4%.
You're a one Charlotte point guard kind of man. You don't like. You're not a polygamist. But it's a lot of Devontae. I like Devontae. Shout out Michael McFarland, by the way. Love this show. Thanks for all the great advice. Thank you, Michael McFarland. You have a strong man name, and I appreciate it. All right. Rest of the guys here. Nikola Vucevic at 14%. Actually, I do like that. I think there's a move there. Kind of what I tried to get at with Steven Adams, but just taking the higher price centers today with people going to the chalky guys, going to Baines, going to Willie Cauley-Stein, even going to Adams, that's a move to go to the guy who just has his floor is probably better than these guys' ceilings for the most part. So Vucevic at 14% seems about right. Did you get any at all, UMAC, or is he one of your
I have him at 9%.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's just burn through the rest here. Shea 13%, Ben Simmons at 12.4%. That seems like a fair amount for me where you're taking that stab. Tobias Harris at 12, Chris Paul at 12. I thought he was going to get chased more. That kind of surprises me. Where'd you land with Chris Paul?
11.4. He's one of the guys where I said I'll match the field, so I didn't change his percentages.
Terry Rozier at 11%. So you are under on him. Hopefully he's not the one who goes nuts out of that Charlotte backcourt. Joel Embiid at 11% seems interesting as well. Just big upside, and people aren't using their money there, but that's one way to spend your money. Go cheap at the guard positions and go to Embiid. Horford at 9%. Jonathan Isaac at 4.6%. That's a big drop off there.
Have we gotten to Nerlens Noel yet?
We have not gotten to Nerlens. Dennis Schroeder at 4%. Josh Richardson also at 4%. Aaron Gordon, 3.8%. Furkan Korkmaz, 3.2%. Miles Bridges, 2.4%. Cody Zeller, 2.4%. Markelle Fultz, 2.4%. Nerlens Noel, 2.3%. So you are 10 times the field on Nerlens.
Almost 11.
That's going to look real smart, though, if Adams gets in foul trouble. People will be hailing you as some sort of genius.
Well, we'll see.
I get it, man. Look, that's, Adam mentioned it on the deeper dive. If you have centers where, the one guy's going to be owned and they're sharing 48 minutes, that's a direct pivot to Adam. So you kind of did the smart move. I think that's, it's worth it. A little heavy on the smart move.
We'll see. I'm doing the early bird, and then tomorrow at 9:30, Adam and I back together. We haven't done a show in almost a month now. DFS strategy show will be.
Oh, you're just getting all your old booty calls back.
Yeah,
all your old show booty calls.
It's like the holiday season back in town. Oh, Interesting. Some of these old girlfriends' numbers are still the same.
Oh, we're at the same bar in our local town. That's crazy. What a situation. The rest of these guys, nobody that interesting. Terrence Ross at 2%. Somebody asked about him. Kind of interesting, given that they'll need some scoring in this spot, but not a guy.
$10 on FanDuel. You can always look to Ross for $10 on FanDuel. He does have 30 fantasy point upside. He's incredibly scoring heavy. We should know that after his 7 years in the league, but he still does have that upside because he will jack 8 threes and not think twice about it.
He's one of those guys, though, where I feel like he did that a lot more last year than this year, at least thus far. Where actually, I'm on a box score chase real fast because he's not broken 40 fantasy points this year, other than one preseason game against Atlanta. So I think Terrence Ross is one of those guys where I feel like I mentally had a little bit of bias. He did get to 36 last game against Charlotte, so he's getting close, but hasn't spiked the upside yet. So maybe today's the day. Let's see if anybody played themselves because there's just a lot of assholes here getting a bit owned. Mo Bamba's out today, right?
I believe so.
I believe he's out. So he would be the 1.01%. Those people did, in fact, play themselves. Nobody played Gallo at all. Huh? Wow. All right. Yeah. So there you go. Those people played themselves. So good job by them. Thanks.
Real quick, and then that's the last time I can interrupt you, and then you can sign us off. But Leland is asking in chat, where do we get these ownership percentages from? Those are from the large, whatever it is, $8, $10, or $15 tournament on DraftKings. It's the easiest to get to, and we can download a CSV quickly. That is what the ownership projections are designed for. From the Osmo side of things, it's for that large field tournament. The higher up in buy-ins you go, the sharper things will get, and the more chalkier things will get. That is not representative of cash game lineups at all.
Yep. And this one in particular was the Friday fadeaway on DK, which is, I think, a $15 entry with 100K to first. But generally, these are looking at the large tournament of the day on whichever site. All right, so that is it, guys. Hit that like button before you go. Also, shout out Fantasy Draft, of course, for being the official home of rake-free DFS. Go there right now and use that promo code OSMO. Even if you're not playing for today's slate, just get in there now. Play Sunday's NFL slate. Week 17 is going to be crazy. We got content coming up all weekend, including On the Contrary tomorrow with me, Ian Harditz, and Sal Vetri, because no Alex this week. He's out of town. But we're doing a fun, actually the first On the Contrary without Alex. So that'll be a fun one for me to dig into. And we have the same content going on Sunday as well. Deeper dive, live before locks, all that. So play the NFL. And EMAC, what are your plugs here? You've got the early bird. You got shows this weekend.
Got the early bird. We got the 9:30 DFS NBA strategy show that will be with Adam. 13 games on the main slate tomorrow. Come watch us cry. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, we'll have a quick on-air or off-air production meeting, figure out what we're doing for that late or for the live before lock show. We may just bang it all out in 1 hour and just do nothing but questions, but we'll find that out and post it at 11 o'clock. You do get the DFS NFL strategy show, final one for the regular season, and then I believe Jay Kari in the afternoon will be doing NHL as well. So lots of good content out there for you in front of the paywall. Like and subscribe to the Osmo YouTube channel.
You hit that subscribe button, hit that like button before you go, and just subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we have content this weekend, because even though it's the holidays, we keep going every single day throughout the New Year's and all the things going on here. So we're degenning right along with you guys. We appreciate you tuning in. We hope you all have a great weekend, even though EMAC and I will be here all weekend doing stuff. So, if you're doing nothing, just hang out, come back with us. We appreciate you guys. Hope you've had a great holiday season. Keep it going and have a great weekend, guys. Bye.